Hey there. So tonight it's Sunday, and I got my tea tonight. So I'd come down after my better half is gone. She's gone to sleep. Well, in Morocco, she's gone to sleep. We FaceTime for a minute, and still a week away before she gets back. And I'm missing her like crazy. But tonight we're going to be talking about some hidden Blu-ray gems that you might have missed out on. Hopefully you didn't, but if you did, well, we're going to look through and we're not going with just one company. Hey, Nethead, welcome, dude. You're number one tonight. We're going to look at different companies. So right now, and I might think some others, but we got things here from Shout Select, from Code Red, from Arrow, from Synapse, from Scream Factory, from Kino, from AGFA. Hey, and ready, welcome. So we're going to look at some ones here that, hey, Cellulite, welcome, dude. Been a while. Hey, Sunset. What is up? We are talking movies that may have passed you by, and that for a while probably passed me by, that are around there that you can still grab, and maybe you guys can think of some good ones too. But I hadn't planned to make a video tonight. This was kind of like a last-minute decision. Actually, I had planned to do one last night, but I was in a bit of a funk with my better half being gone. Danooch, welcome, dude. I did watch Salvage, by the way. Most highly regarded movie publisher. Vinegar Syndrome. Scream Factory is really good too, and Arrow, Criterion. Those are kind of the big four, but like and Severin is like definitely gone up there. I definitely will. I might get you in for that one, by the way, because it was interesting. I watched it, but I want to watch it again with the commentary. So when I do, I don't want to say my thoughts on it until after I watch with the commentary as well. But I shall let you know. All right, so the first one is probably, let's do this one first. The most mainstream one, but an odd little one, and probably the cheapest one out of the ones that I'm going to show you tonight. That if this somehow managed to pass you by, and it's fairly inexpensive to get, whether you live in Canada or the United States or I think the UK has this too. Is it? It's region lock though. This one's region A. But I've been waiting for this movie to come out for a long time, and I got to watch it, and it did disappoint me. Brought me back to the time when I was younger and I was watching as a kid, and that is The New Kids. So if this one ever passed you by, it's actually a really cool film. Now the guy that plays the lead in the film, the main actor, he quit acting like shortly after this, and became like a really kind of big famous prosecuting attorney that actually like prosecuted an extremely high level case. Oh, dude, that's gotta be hard. Is you better have from China? Mine is from Morocco. And this is fun. This is a really fun, unique little film. It's probably the most mainstream of the films I'm going to show you tonight. But it's still, in a way, it's not. See, James Spader stars as a bad guy in this film. And he's not just a Beijing, oh, cool. He's not just like a bad, like kind of a sort of bad guy. No, this guy is a full-on psychopath. This is not kind of like the innocent type bullying or the bullying that escalates. No, he starts it right from the beginning. You know there's something wrong with this guy. And he just kind of pushes his friends along with him. Peanut butter solution, I know, like 7 kids. Can you imagine that? And this is good. I mean, this is hey Daz, welcome. This is really, really good. I was surprised that it held up so well. I do love this here slip cover. If you can get it with the slip, I do recommend it. This is the cover on the inside, which is not quite as good, to be honest with you. It's nice that it's different. And I wish, I don't think you can, no. I wish that was reversible, because I would actually put this on the outside. But this is what the hell I remember New Kids when I rented it. I don't remember this. This is kind of a lame Blu-ray cover that they made later on. But oh, Possession is awesome, dude. You're gonna be really. I hope you've been really impressed. Hey George, we're doing hidden gems. So although this is more mainstream, as in like it's it's out there everywhere to pick up, and nowadays you can find it at your local Sunrise Records or HMV or wherever you got for around like $8, sometimes less, sometimes six. It's a great little Blu-ray. There's no features, but it is a great film, and I think everybody should see it. It was the year that they were trying to really get James Spader over, and they didn't know where to put him. So it was that movie and Tough Turf came out the same year. He's the good guy in Tough Turf. That's the new kid to town, being picked on and bullied by other people. And in this one, he's a psychopathic bully. Hey, Brian, welcome. Did you see New Kids? You gotta like New Kids. All right, so the next one is a... Hey, Indy, welcome. I kind of knew you would. We kind of got the same taste, dude. A lot of Christmas films. I love Christmas stuff. I watch Christmas horror films and actually Christmas regular films too. Hey, Javid, welcome. So next up is again, I'm going for the straightforward, most normal ones first. And the next one is Shout Slack's Dragnet. Now, this is awesome. If you've ever seen, and you don't really need to see, hey David, Dragnet, the TV series, but if you do, you're going to get a little bit more out of this. But Dragnet is one of those comedies kind of with a bit of darkness to it. And this one and Fletch, this is a good like double feature. If you've ever seen Fletch or you've read the Fletch books by Gregory Smith, I think, wrote Fletch. This is fantastic. Now, what pushes this one over the edge with this is this edition is incredible. Back in the day, before there was the internet and stuff like that, basically, if a film like this was coming out, a summer film, and it didn't quite know how it was going to catch people, they would normally put on like a kind of like a special, like a TV special, to try and hope to get people to come in. So they put on a TV special for Dragnet. Oh no, Chevy Chase like pretty much like epitomized the character of Fletch on screen. He was perfect for the role. That's how I read the books. He was actually perfect for the role. In the fact that he gets to do some of his Chevy Chaseisms, but it doesn't go overboard, if you know what I mean. And it suits the character of Fletch. So, but this one here has this extremely cool like making of. Well, not really making of. It's called Just the Facts. So basically, it was one of those TV promotional things that came on, but it doesn't like basically just talk about Dragnet the movie. That's actually a very small part of it. The actual gem part of this is that it talks about the original Dragnet, the radio show TV series, and it talks about Jack Webb. It gets into his life and to the show and like the different people that came on it and the inspirations for it and the movie that he was in that inspired Dragnet as well. It is genius. So not only will you get like a really good movie with Tom Hanks in my opinion at his best days, and Dan Aykroyd definitely working on Dan Aykroyd's amazing in this film, but a lot of people would pass this over. It's called Just the Facts, promotional look at Dragnet. Don't pass this up. Oh yeah, I love the reboot, Dragnet in L.A., right? And then it was Dragnet New York, something like that. Like there was 2 seasons, but they changed the setting in in the second season to kind of like to. I'm not sure if it was Darknet or Lighten It Up. I'd have to watch it again, but I remember them changing like to it was just Dragnet when they originally called it. That was either Dragnet L.A. or Dragnet New York, something like that. But I used to like it. I like it on you. But this is a fantastic film. Make sure you get this edition because you want this promotional one because it's really good. It's a really cool documentary. It runs around an hour long. And it'll take you back to the days, if you're older like me, when you got to see these things on TV. Look, back in the days when there was like Siskel and Ebert and stuff like that. There were these like, when movies come out, sometimes they put out like a half-hour long, like kind of like to promote the movie or an hour-long thing. I think, actually, David, maybe a bit, but I think a lot of it had to do at the time with scheduling for Dragnet. Dragnet had some awful scheduling at the time. It was going up against different programs. A lot of the shows that you see from that period of time, even some of the cheesier ones that if you look back now, you wonder how they got on the air in the first place. Stuff like Manimal and Automan were actually fairly popular. It's just that they got stuck in like really bad scheduling zones. Untouchables is another show like that. It lasted 2 seasons. It was a great series. The new one. All right, this is one that I've shown previously on other videos, but I'm going to keep showing it till everybody owns this movie. And I kind of wonder if this is not going to be sure. Good point. I remember his character from Adventures of Ford Fairlane. Song Boogie Town or something like that that he did. So I think this one is going to get a release in a upcoming Arrow set. Nothing's been announced yet, but we know they're putting an Edge of the Axe with Jose Larraz. They put out a first set of his stuff. I do think that if they put out a second set, this is going to be on it, and this is Black Candles. Now, Black Candles is not a family film. It is a crazy, insane, sexploitation, satanic, Rosemary's Baby-ish, fever dream type of film. But it is highly watchable, extremely hypnotic. There are some amazingly beautiful ladies in there. So if that helps out. But you know, this is by the guy that put out like movies like Vampires or Vampires, whatever you call it, like Symptoms. And if you got the Jose Larraz set from Arrow, the first one, Volume 1, this is more than likely going to be on Volume 2. And I have the Code Red edition of this one right here. If this is on the second volume of the Jose Larraz set, it's a must for me. Like it is hands down going to be a must for me. Again, one of my favorites. That's the guy that did the house with that Vanish, guys, and it was fun. I know it's finally. I mean, like for years, David, you got like you would get like not really. Yeah, he did get ignored, I think, and he did so much. But people would see vampires or vampires. I'm going to go vampires. I keep going back and forth on how to pronounce it. And they'd see that, and that was pretty much it. But he is like a director that's made so much stuff. Kind of like Nika Masterakis. Like recently we've gotten like a, kind of like, even without even realizing it, we've got like a big, like a lot of Nika Masterakis films come out. I know, and already the limited edition, slipcover editions have all sold out. So I missed out on that, but I will get the standard edition because I just need to have that film. It's been years since I've seen it. But he's definitely a director that I think that if you have not looked into him, definitely check him out. Symptoms from Anna Macabre is an excellent release. The Arrow box set, it's a good one. It's different. I'll tell you that right now. But I enjoyed it. First film was a bit of a downer, but I did like it. Edge of the Axe, dude. Oh, Danuch, just trust me. Just look at the cover. You're gonna want it. Same with Black Candles. Do you like Satanism in your films? Do you like tons of nudity? Do you like weird films? Do you like satanic goat people? You will like Black Candles. All right, so this is one by Synapse, and this is a couple years old. But I do think it's one that doesn't get talked about a lot when they talk about a lot of the other like bigger Synapse films that they put out. But this is Mosquito, and it is a fun, cheesy kind of like, oh, you're in love with them. Straight to I think this was straight. I don't think this ever made the theater. If it did, I probably limited. Great film like this is one of the worst covers you've ever seen. Good question. Let me think about that for a bit though. Maybe a film in here. Because I don't really know. I know the opposite. Like so, I always talk about werewolf and talk about the opposite. But this is fun. It's a creature feature flick. It has Gunnar Hansen, and yes, he does get to wield a chainsaw in a part of the film, which he kind of built to. It's really fun. The effects actually are really good, and there were like a couple Mosquito movies that came out around this time or shortly after. There was another one called Skeeter. But this, by far and large, was the best like kind of giant mosquito film that came out. And if you haven't checked it out, it really is a lot of fun. There are some great features on here, including a kind of a feature-length documentary, I think, and deleted scenes. Well, he did star in some stuff. You have to understand, when Gunnar Hansen did Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Gunnar Hansen was an actor that wasn't an actor at that point. That's something he went and he did, and popularity things would come out. It's a fun one. Got some great little gore effects as well. But he did the kind of did the occasional things. Hellblock 13, yeah, he did, and I remember him being in. Oh God, of course, the one with, Chainsaw Girls. What's it called again? Hollywood Chainsaw. Gunnar was a very much so. Gunnar was like a deep guy. I only got to meet Gunnar once, and this was a guy that I was kind of nervous about meeting because Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the '74 film, did scare the crap out of me, and he specifically, but yeah, he was very proud of that cameo in Texas Chainsaw 3D. Actually, when Texas Chainsaw 3D came out, and people were down in it. I'm not gonna lie, I had a blast with the film. I actually I was super like argumentative about that film because it meant a lot. One, I went to see it with one of my kids, with my oldest, and it was kind of a shared experience. Two, I got to talk to Gunnar about it before I got to see the film, and he was super proud of making that film and the stuff and the work that they put into it. The fact that the guy that was playing Leatherface now actually had come to Gunnar and like asked him about like playing the character so that he could get it right. You could tell that Gunnar was really proud of doing the film. So I'm glad that he got to do that film, and that it's also one of the reasons. And also because of that film, I can say Gunnar got to do like one where he was appreciated, as opposed to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, where with Andrew Baranski, and that guy can go blank himself. Just putting it out there. One of the many reasons that I don't like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake is that actor right there. That, and I don't think he did a good job either. But that doesn't matter because he does. And if nobody else said he did a good job, his ego would totally make up for that. Mosquito, not Gunnar Hansen. Gunnar Hansen is a guy that if you've ever met him, he does not have an ego. Because he was a jerk to almost anybody that I've ever heard that met him. He was kind of an asshole, and he was a jerk to Gunnar Hansen. Yeah, Hollywood Chainsaw could actually be considered noir. It is kind of filmed and shot like a noir film, even to the voiceover. But he's known for being like mean and loud and a dick. And I have not personally met him, just putting that out there right away. But absolutely everybody that I know that has, and his own actions about Gunnar Hansen. Because he kind of dissed him. Andrew Bransky, I think his name is. I may have got that last name wrong. He played whatever the hell the character Leatherface was in the second one. Yeah, exactly. You don't need that kind of negativity. I don't think it was the fact that he wanted too much money. Gunnar Hansen and the rest of the cast of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, most of, by the way, who didn't come back for Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, had a very good reason for doing that. They were screwed over big time with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I love the movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think Tobe Hooper did a genius job of making it, but I have no illusions about what happened to those actors and what they were promised, what they actually got in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Neither does anybody else worked on the film. For a long time, you couldn't get them to talk about it, and when they did, it was usually in a negative light. which is a shame because I know that the people that made the film were proud of the film that they did. It was just due to the fact that they felt, and Tobe Hooper himself got screwed over by people as well. But to them, Hooper was the guy in charge. And so that's where a lot of the animosity from kind of came in for a while. With that being said, Tobe Hooper and Gunnar Hansen did remain friends overall, and actually Tobe Hooper was originally supposed to be in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Texas Chainsaw 3D, but there was scheduling conflict. He couldn't get there when they were shooting the film. So what they did was they gave the lines that were supposed to be for another character, Tobe Hooper's character, to Gunnar Hansen actually. So he had to say Tobe Hooper's lines as well. Oh. All right. Yeah, I mean, like there's different people in each film. The ones that stand out for me, one and part two is pretty good. Uh, part three, I enjoyed. Like forget, I did like a New Generation for what it was. However, it is the Leatherface. It's probably the worst Leatherface ever. He's almost a non-entity in part four. So Leatherface part four. Oh yeah, Bill Moseley. Not just Bill Moseley though, David, because as great as Bill Moseley is, we do kind of tend to, and I think it's a shame. Like you got you got big actors. Like I like Leatherface actually. Oh wait, no, you mean the new one? Oh no, I don't like the new one. I like the third film, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, Leatherface. But no, I wasn't a big fan of the new one. Like you got big actors like Dennis Hopper, and you got big actors like Bill Moseley. But I think Carolyn Williams, who plays Stretch, does an incredible. Yeah, I figured that after I said that actually. Who plays Stretch is actually really good in it as well. Actually, if you look at the beginning, well, it was supposed to be, but his scene got cut. He talks about that actually, and he talks about the fact that he was pretty bad in it. But I think does the new Arlie Ermy was the only thing I liked about that film. That and the girls were cute. Because that is him, yeah, from Devil's Rejects, and also from Sleep, like Silent Night, Deadly Night 3 as well. Not as prolific a role, but he's in that too. He plays the main character. He's good for that type of role, and even if I don't like every Rob Zombie film, I really got to give Rob Zombie credit for bringing him back. Oh my God, yeah, she's actually in the third one as well. She has like a cameo at the beginning of the third film, playing like I think she's a. It looks like she's a reporter or something like that. Yep, that's him. He's Otis. He's memorable. He's like Sid Haig's is the main cell for Devil's Rejects, but but Otis by Bill Moseley is amazing as well. What didn't I like about the remake? It's shot well, and the acting from Arlie Ermy is good, but it bothers me that it is a film that is exactly what critics of horror films that don't like horror films, that always diss on horror films. It's exactly what they say. It's a film that whose conceit of the film only works at all if every character in the film makes the most brain-dead, stupid decision every single moment of the film. And I'll stand by that. Like every character in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake has to make absolutely the worst possible decision you can imagine a character making, and just the dumbest possible decision. We're going to stay here extra long with a dead body in our car. Let's throw away the keys. Let's go look for this person. That bothers me. And I got to see it recently last year in the drive-in with my cousin. We went to see the film, and it didn't hold up because I originally thought, okay, it's not great, but it's okay. But my cousin doesn't normally watch horror films, and he watched. We saw like the original Friday 13th there, the 1980 Friday 13th, and he had a blast with that. It was kind of fun. But I was embarrassed watching the movie with him because that's never a good sign. There, hopefully that explains my reason for not liking the film, either aside from the Leatherface guy being a dick. All right, Contamination, Lucio Cosi. Is this a great film? It's a fun film. It's a cheesy film, but there's something else that actually makes it a bit better. There is a interview, I think it's an hour-long interview, maybe a little bit over an hour long, with the director of this film, and it is fascinating. So if you've ever passed up on this one, Contamination, it's a fun, cheesy Italian little like sci-fi horror film, and you can enjoy it for that. But what is really interesting, what you really watch it for, and there's like a ton of features on this thing, but the biggest one of all is basically this interview with Lucio Cosi just talking about. It does look like Logan's Run. You're right. It does have that look to it. Talking about like his entire career, and I don't mean just his movie career, because he started out like actually, well, I'm region free ragman, so and I buy a lot of my my arrows through like the arrow sales, so that's why. This isn't Logan's Run, dude. You know that, right? And you shouldn't hate Logan's Run. It was fun. It was cool, cheesy, fun. They made a short-lived TV series with Gregory Harrison. But yeah, the documentary, like basically just talking to him, is worth the watch alone. Because he started out, he didn't start in films. He started like kind of like imagine like somebody like is working for like a magazine like Fangoria or like one of those like sci-fi magazines like Starlog or something like that. That's kind of his start. I mean, he's got like he did editing, he did writing. He wrote for like film magazines. He started when he was really young. It's fascinating, and definitely worth checking out. I mean, like the movie's cheesy fun too, but the feature alone, it's worth it. It's worth having your collection just for that feature alone. And that's not the only feature. There are a ton of features. Notes on science fiction cinemas on here. There's a 2014 Q&A. There's a Talk to Goblin's keyboardist. Definitely, even if you just watch the features, looks great. Hey, Ghostbusters, man, welcome. Heart surgery, dude. Well, I hope you're rested up and feeling better. I knew you hadn't been around for a while, but I thought you were just kind of like chilling and stuff. What's the average price of movies? There's not really an average, to be honest with you. I do try to go during sale times when I can actually, when it doesn't cost me too much. But if I can get a movie like at around, 20 to 30 within that range, that's kind of the sweet spot. Because even if you don't have a lot of money, you can usually like just save up for that. Now sometimes with like those Blue Undergrounds, like this zombie and stuff, that cost me more, but I'd save that well for those. For a DVD or a Blu-ray, you mean like comparatively, or you mean like because cheapest price? Obviously I went to flea markets, and stuff, and 25 cents, like for like a DVD type thing, or I remember buying Blu-rays for 50 cents. I'm definitely gonna picking up some recent 4Ks. There's certain ones in particular that I really want. Nice. But comparatively, the Harry Potter set that I've shown on here before is the big gigantic one. I paid $20 for that, so I think that's probably the best price I got on anything. Same with those the big like the head, the zombie head for Walking Dead, and and I got like the fish tank thing for Walking Dead. So I paid 20 each for those, less than 20 because I bought like some other stuff at some other films at the table. They rounded it down to 50, so probably around 15 each. Not normally. I mean, like I know some people do, and you'll see people come on and they'll like to be selling off stuff. I have kids, so if I get like certain things, I'll keep if for different features and stuff like that. But if it's something that I really, I just got, it's the exact same movie basically. I usually send it out to my to the kiddies because one of them's going to university, and the other one just like is working. Only if it's stuff that you want to upgrade to Blu-ray. Me, I don't replace until I need to. Sometimes I'll get if the features are different. If the features are different, definitely. I actually like Pulp Fiction. What's the most overrated movie? I don't think it's hard for me to say the most overrated movie considering it. Just because it's overrated to me doesn't mean it's gonna be overrated to somebody else. But to stay on the topic of like this video, the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre is always considered like, oh, it's one of the great remakes of, this is how horror remakes done right. But I didn't think so. So I guess that for me that it's that. But that's just my opinion, not the consensus. Do I spend most of my money on movies? Well, I don't drink very often. Old DVDs look. It depends on the transfer. Like, but in 4K is usually it. It is actually, David. That's the thing, and that's actually really surprised me. Because I mentioned this before, and I got a lot of flack for it. To be honest with you, like it's considered one of the like okay when people talk about remakes and they say, well, here's a remake done right. For me, Friday 13th, that was a remake done right. I liked it. A lot of people didn't, right? So that's why I say, just because I say something's overrated, that doesn't stamp with overrated. Just my opinion. I feel like I was about to say something and I forgot. Did I? Did I forget something? I haven't seen that one yet. Oh yes, yeah. Do I spend most of my money on films? Well, I have to. I have to I have to eat, and I have bills to pay. And I'm not like a superly rich person. So, but yes, I do. I save up money and to buy movies. And since I don't spend on other things, I pretty much that's my vice. So I don't drink a lot. I don't go out. I don't go to clubs or anything like that. I'm not like a big party person. But I enjoy films. I enjoy cinema, and I can just sit back and watch them and kind of like go away, drift off a bit. And so yeah, I do spend a large amount. She does. She collects the animation. I do spend a little bit on games, but not very much actually. She loves animation. We we collected together, but I still consider her collection the Disney treasures. Remember those tins, Disney treasure tins, which was probably one of the most expensive things in our collection. Is we have the complete collection of the Disney treasure tins. So she collected those with me. Oh, video games. And I'm the things I got. I have all the new systems, and I retro too. I retro collect. So I'm more interested a lot of times in the retro collecting, but I am kind of excited about a couple of games right now. I would like to play the new Pokemon game that comes out, and I would like to see, and eventually I want to play the Dragon Quest game that's out now. I don't know about that. Fincher's one was okay, but I because I got to see all the Swedish ones that they did, because unlike that end up just being one off. I love the Silent Hill series. Actually, I like some ones that people don't like. I like The Room a lot, and I like and there's one, and I don't remember the name of it right now, but it was on the PS3, and you could play it in like 3D. But it had like basically there's this guy and he's like a prisoner, and like something happens like there's an accident, the prison bus kind of breaks and he gets out, and it shows a guy on the cover with an axe, and that's that one. Hey, look. Hey, more than likely the PS5 is going to have 4K support, so I like that. Alien 3 would 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 not prove that correct. Sonic 2 is my kid's favorite, I think. Hellhole. This is fun. So this is put out by Scream Factory. This is one that they almost never got. Like it was going to be put out, and then they basically said, oh, okay, we got to delay it for a bit, and then it looked like it was never coming out, and then all of a sudden they just like slipped it out there. It's a fun little film. It's got a really good cast in it, and I do mean a good cast. We got like Ray Sharkey kind of stealing the film. An amazing job on the film. Hey, Halloween 2018. I love Halloween 2018. Welcome. Judy Landers in the film doing an incredible role. And unfortunately, she's still not nude. She hasn't done a nude scene. And of course, she's got a twin sister. Edie Williams is in this one. Mary Wernoff is in the film. Almost unrecognizable in this movie, actually, is Diane Thorne. Diane Thorne, who plays Ilsa in the Ilsa films, and of course Wanda the Wicked Warden, which I think they changed the name to also call that Ilsa. Yeah, yeah, the Landers twins are high on my radar too. Them and Deborah Shelton, and yet you get these like. I remember like the first time I saw Hellhole, and it's like, okay, there's a women's in prison movie, and Judy Landers is going to be in it. I'm like, oh my God, yes, thank you, Lord. Finally, she's going to women in prison. That for teenage Aaron, hearing women in prison movie. Go for it. Women in prison movies, guaranteed nudity, right? For everybody in the film, except for Judy Landers. Curses followed again. However, this is a great one. There's not a lot of features on her. There's an interview with Mary Wernoff, Deborah Shelton. She has the most amazing blue eyes that I have ever seen in my entire life. Like, just incredible eyes. I don't think I'm alone in thinking that, right? I think Mary Wernoff did actually, yeah. She did a couple. You mean nude scenes? I think so. I'm pretty sure I've seen her in one. Like the jacuzzi scenes in Dallas. Well, then you would love her scenes in like, oh God, was it her or was it Melanie Griffith in Body Double? Because I know Melanie Griffith did a scene, but did she do a scene? Or was that actually double for that sequence? It's hard to say. One, it's giving a bit away for the movie Body Double. But two, I have to look. I think she has, actually. Okay, next up is a double feature that I don't know if this one is going out of print or not. I do, actually, Ragman. I got a few of them. I prefer the story ones, but I think that the three that we're getting, the first three that we're getting, I think you're probably going to be similar to being right. Whether they go back and they sequelize the other films, or they just go on and do something different. This Dave Gordon Green 3, that's going to be its own trilogy. Then we'll get other stuff from there. Really, Darcy DeMoss? I did not know that. And obviously I know who Darcy DeMoss is, but no, thanks. That is a piece of movie trivia that I have now that I did not have before. Danielle Harris. She actually, well, she's done a few. Danielle Harrison probably eventually will get there. It's just you can't put her in there because right now she's still it's too fresh with the zombie stuff. I'm okay with franchise because here's the thing. Movies like Friday the 13th and Halloween and whatever, Hellraiser, they come out. They can come out. But that does not stop movies like Midsummer and other types of movies, kind of like original movies from coming out. You know I didn't, man, but agree to disagree on that one. To each his own. This is Ghost House and Witchery. These are really fun. Ghost House legit did scare me when I was I'm going to say when I was younger. Well, yes, when I was younger. It was probably my 20s when I remember when I watched Ghost House, actually. And, it came out in the 80s, but I saw it in my 20s. Witchery is just really fun, kind of cheesy film. David Hasselhoff's in it, Linda Blair's in it. But this one here, that freaking kid with that creepy-looking clown scared the crap out of me. We gotta disagree on this one. We'll be like Sisko and Ebert, dude. We gotta disagree. But these are fun. These are the La Casa films. Well, there are two of the there are 3 and 4 of the La Casa films. La Casa is Evil Dead. What over in Italy, but rather than just like do Evil Dead and reject that, they had their own sequels. So La Casa 3 is Ghost House, I think, and La Casa 4, I think, is Witchery. Actually, you can look it up online. You can Google it. It's actually interesting to read about the way that films are marketed in other countries. And the La Casa film is a great way to check that out. All right. Next up is one that I had a lot of fun with. And going back and watching again, I actually I think I appreciate it more than I did the first time I saw the film. And I definitely a lot more. And a lot of it had to do with the lead actress. I'd forgotten how good of an actress she was, and the fact that she was so young. Female Prison Scorpion. Oh, nice. I need to get that one, actually. I don't have that one yet. I very much want that one. And that is The Crush. Now, this is another one that gets passed over. Yeah, I heard. Which is kind of cool. Gets passed over a lot because people just think of it like as a basic kind of like, not like early 90s. I think early 90s kind of Fatal Attraction type of film. But it actually is much better than that. It's much better than you could imagine. It's again, this is definitely a tamer film, but it was the type of film that is. It was never meant to be anything but it's the performance by Alicia Silverstone that really knocks this one out of the park. She is incredible in the movie. She plays the girl with she has this youthful innocence, and but she has this amazing level of intellect and maturity, both the character and the actress. That is almost scary. And you have to remember, she was underage when this movie was done, so there was no nude scenes for her in the film. But one of the producers of the films was so insistent on getting nudity in the film that they actually had to with her that they actually had to hire a body double. You're bad, man. Take care of yourself, man. Just rest up. That's what's important. Health's important. So they actually had to hire a body double to do a butt scene for her in the film because he just wouldn't give up on it. And you're right. The commentary on this is really freaking good. Of course, this has a great cast. We got Carrie Elwes, of course, would go on to be in hey William, to be in the Saw, some of the Saw films, and of course Princess Bride, hands down one of the great movies of all time. Kurtwood Smith, who would be in RoboCop, and then of course later we're going to that '70s show, I already mentioned Alicia Silverstone and Jennifer Rubin, who I guess a lot of people know either from Bad Dreams or from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 Dream Warriors, where she is the drug addict character of the group, where Freddy gets to do his "wanna get high" lineup. Hopefully, if you don't have some of these give me some ideas of movies to pick up, or maybe to ask for to put on your Christmas wish list. I should have called this. It's too early in November to call this a Christmas wish list video for people, but maybe I'll do something like that down the road. Actually, it's not a bad idea. Now to think about it. Next up is from Kino Lorber, and it is a movie set. I've talked about this one on here before, so I won't go too in depth with it, but I still have to say, if you don't have it, it's really, really worth having. And that is the OSS 117 5-film collection. These are really well done. They're French, kind of James Bondian style films. They were the first film. Isn't it is coming to very quickly actually? Isn't what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, I just isn't too James Bondian, and Curran Matthews is in the first two of these films. A lot of people remember Curran Matthews from like movies like the Sinbad film. I think is it Jack the Giant Slayer as well. But he was like a big actor back in the day. Actually, maybe. Probably actually, or did the comics come out after? I'd have to check. Like it's all there's 5 films on here. There's no features. The features are that there's 5 films, and it's actually usually a pretty inexpensive set to pick up. The first movie is in black and white, but the other 4 films are in color. It becomes more James Bondian in the second film, which is Panic in Bangkok. And one of the great things about that film is that it has Robert Hassan in it. And if you've ever seen the French actor Robert Hassan, then you know what I'm talking about. He's an incredible actor, just amazing, and he plays the bad guy in this film. And there's no hiding the fact he's a bad guy. He's just the bad guy. Yeah, he did Sinbad. Oh yes, because my better half is from Morocco, and she grew up with French cinema, so there's no way around me seeing Jean-Pierre Melville films, which I do love anyway. And every time we see a film that has Robert Hassan in it, or one of the actors like of that ilk, we have to pick it up. Like Lino Ventura, anything Lino Ventura, we grab right away. But definitely, guys, check this one out. There are 5 films. The first film, 2 films have Curran Matthews. The third film, who did the third film? I'm trying to remember. Oh, Frederick Stafford is in films 3 and 4, and John Gavin from Psycho is in the 5th film. Now, as many people are aware, if you're a James Bond fan, John Gavin was an actor that was for a long period of time on the short list to be James Bond if an actor left, and he'd impressed them enough apparently with his audition that he was always on the short list to be the next James Bond. So if you want to see what John Gavin would have been like as James Bond, then look no farther than OSS 117 Double Agent, because John Gavin is in the role. He probably was, actually. It's been a long time since I've seen Spartacus. Yeah, it was a Maniac. Maniac's one of my favorites, actually. I love that film. All right, so... Yep. So if you've ever wondered what he would have been like in the role, if Sean Connery hadn't came back to it, watch that film. That you'll legit see what he would have been like as James Bond. So next is a cheesy TV series, but it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. I do think that a lot of people pass it up, and they really shouldn't have, because it's got a lot of great actors in it, and it's just super cheesy fun. And that is The Master with Lee Van Cleef. So this was a short-lived series, only lasted for like one season. It was only, was it? Did it even last 20 episodes? Can't remember. It didn't last like a lot of episodes anyway. Bad choices. Also around the time that I remember James Brolin getting auditioned as well. But apparently John Gavin was always on the list. Like he'd been on the list for a long time. This is, dude. This is Lee Van Cleef. He's a badass. Especially a lot of his Western stuff. Now, unfortunately, at the time that Lee Van Cleef made this film, he was very sick. But the cool thing about it is, he's a ninja basically. So when he's fighting as a ninja, when he's wearing the ninja outfit, and he's got the mask on, then obviously somebody else can do the role for him. Have you guys really never seen Lee Van Cleef? I mean, like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. But again, this was created by the guy that did The Equalizer, Michael Sloan. He's famous for doing a lot of these action shows. It got Lee Van Cleef a paycheck later on when he wasn't feeling well. It was amazing, a few dollars more. But we get to see Timothy Van Patten in here as well. Sho Kazuji, who pretty much like made the ninja films famous in in the 80s, kind of brought him back, and like cast, we got guest stars on here, like Chris Bernard from Wings, if you remember that show, or Chris Bernard from Sleepaway Camp 2. Slumber Party Massacre 2. George Lazenby's in here, speaking of James Bond. George Maharis, David McCallum, Doug McClure, Bill McKinney, William Smith, incredible actor, by the way. Demi Moore, and Stuart Whitman. Some of the, and it is a 3-disc set, so I'm guessing this series didn't last a long time. You guys do know you're leaving Cleef films. Good going. The last 3 are by one company, basically because I wanted to kind of highlight this company. And it was the reason I started doing this video in the first place. So first off, if you like Ed Wood, that's him. That's the same guy. That's the same Timothy Van Patten. Oh, by the way, guys, if you're at all like, if you like wrestling, Full Gear AEW, watch that. It was incredible, and so much blood, just so much blood. Yeah, you should know that. If you're not into blood, maybe certain aspects you won't like. Oh yeah, dude, there's an hour-long, like, pretty much a death match, like a Japanese-style death match with. Oh yeah, the last match is an unsanctioned match. So we got this really great wrestling show, then ends with this hour-long unsanctioned match, and it's John Moxley versus Kenny Omega, and you're seeing them go. They're using glass and barbed wire, and not like the fake barbed wire, but the actual barbed wire. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So there's a part where they go into Moxley back to his roots, where they go into this massive like table of barbed wire, and like when you go into the fake barbed wire and kind of it's like they don't really have the things on them, or they're like, not in this one. No, in this one, it's actually a little uncomfortable because a bunch of people have to kind of come and help them out of it, to get them out of the barbed wire, because they can't get a footing, can't get out. It's pretty intense. So if you like that type of stuff, it's a real throwback to the old days. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. Oh, forget tax. There's a table with mouse traps, filled with mouse traps. Dude, you gotta watch Dynamite. I'm serious. It is intensely good. And They really like throw everything out there. Like we have it here on one of their Sportsnet channels actually. That's and but I think I'm not quite sure where it is now. I think it's not Bleacher. I think maybe the Bleacher Report had it. You can find certain matches online if you want to just like check it out. I'm sure that some matches have been put up on probably on the YouTube channel as well. So I'm not sure about the hardcore one, but I'm sure somebody's put it up there. And there's a lot of great wrestling going on right now, but there's a lot of really bad wrestling called Raw and SmackDown. But NXT and AEW, they've been doing good. So to be totally different, Ed Wood's. Oh yeah, it was Omega versus Moxley. So that's how you know it's good. Like, oh yeah, Omega's done hardcore before. Omega became bigger over in Japan actually. Back to the movies. Take It Out and Trade. It's an older Ed Wood film. You can see Ed Wood is much older there. Somebody asked me before if Ed Wood ever acted in any of his films, like right here. But there's two films on here. So we got this one and we got one called The Love Feast. Hey Brian, welcome, dude. Take It Out and Trade. We're checking out, dude. Like for the price that like these cost, they're definitely worth like checking out. These are some of the more inexpensive movies that I picked up. And the good thing about AGFAs, if you ever get them, they always include like a booklet, which usually has some cool like kind of like a little bit of quality reading on there as well. This one has like a one by Rudolph Gray. This is a Blu-ray DVD combo pack. You get a alternate cover if you want to go with the kind of grinders cover. Oh, it's an odd little film. Definitely a cure. Definitely want to check out. I have not yet checked out The Love Feast, but what is even better about this is the commentary track, because Rudolph Gray is Ed Wood's biographer. He's the kind of pretty much the official biographer for Ed Wood. Him and Frank Henenlotter do the commentary track, and I have yet to be let down by listening to Frank Henenlotter ever talk on anything. Whether it's a commentary track, whether it's his documentary, that's Sexploitation, whether he's being interviewed for somebody else's documentary, Frank Henenlotter is one of those guys that is just amazingly entertaining to watch. Yeah, oh yeah, Henenlotter. You do have to check out Orgy of the Dead. It is insane. Well, it's supposed to be fake, dude. It's kind of like a male soap opera, this whole thing. You like movies and they're fake. We watched, Brian, before my better half went to Morocco. I'm missing her so much. We sat down, we watched Orgy of the Dead. Like, she chose it, actually. And we were just like, oh my God. It was an A.C. Stevens film with, written by Ed Wood, camera work by Ted V. Michaels. But yeah, definitely a fun one. But and that being aside, there's another one. So they put out two. Oh yeah, the hardcore match. Yeah, that was that blood or in the. Yeah, exactly. But this was the one that a lot of people like really were looking to get, and that is the Violent Years. So Ed Wood's The Violent Years. He's got the passion behind it. That's the thing. Ed Wood has passion behind it. Whether you like Ed Wood or you hate Ed Wood or you find his movies like kind of passable or whatever, at least it was somebody that was making movies that cared to make movies and was making them for the right reason because he loved making films. It does have the kind of look to it. It's not really a 3D cover. It's just kind of like the style that he went with. Almost like kind of like when you get like a newsprint and get like a double exposure. It's kind of like that. So this one again has another film on it, not an Ed Wood film though. Oh, you got this one? Yeah, this is a fun one. But it has Anatomy of Psycho from 1961. And Anatomy of Psycho was one of those that you would get basically on the. Remember those double features would come out and they would have like a cartoon and like a short and maybe like a trailer or something on the like in the middle of it, kind of make it look like an actual real double feature. Well, this one, and again, did you listen to the commentary, Brian? Because again, now this is Brian, by the way, guys. He hasn't been here in a bit, but if you haven't checked out Just to This podcast, Superior Cinema, those are Brian's babies, and they're incredible. It's Frank Henenlotter. Frank Henenlotter and Rudolph Gray, again. So, again, it's the dream team of Henenlotter and Gray. Now, this one is just the Blu-ray. This one doesn't have a Blu-ray DVD combo pack. We do get another booklet in here. And we do get a alternate artwork. Oh, dude, you've been super busy. Trust me. I've seen the video. So I've seen the podcast come up. And last but not least is my favorite AGFA title. One that, what's my favorite Wood film? You mean that he directed? Plan 9 from Outer Space is really good. I like Bride the Monster a lot. And there's something oddly hypnotic about Glen or Glenda, but probably Bride of the Monster, to be honest with you. With Plan 9, just a very close second. But Bride of the Monster is probably my favorite. If I had to really like. I don't have that one yet. Though I do have, and you have this one. This is something that you gotta have on. Show, get Tarantino. I don't have the Zodiac Killer. I wish I did actually. I have to get that one. Lady Street Fighter. So, tell Tarantino to put this one at the New Beverly. Pure Cinema podcast, by the way, guys, is the official podcast of the New Beverly. They've had Tarantino on there. No. This is so not Japanese. Although I know you would think it's Japanese because it's like Street Fighter. So you're thinking like, okay, Street Fighter, like Sonny Chiba or Sister Street Fighter, type thing. No. So the girl in this is Renee Harmon from, oh, dude, watch it with your better half, from Frozen Scream. She is 50 or so if she's a day. But don't worry, I know what you're thinking. Does she do nude scenes? Well, yes, of course she does. Do they make sense to the film? Nope. I mean, there's a sequence in the film where her character gets ready to go out, but then she gets in the shower. And then she gets out of the shower again. It's a really weird. This is a great fun film. It's one of those that you just gotta watch. She sounds like she's the mother of Tommy Wiseau, but she's an attractive lady. But she just sounds like it. Kind of like she's an attractive lady, but her voice is like. I expected to hear like oh hi Mark. Actually, there's a line very similar to "Oh hi Mark" that she says in this film. The film was made back, was it 77? The sequel to the film, by the way, the sequel to the film is on here. It is on here. Revenge of Lady Street Fighter. So the sequel that came out 13 years later in 1990. And a large portion of the sequel is much like the sequel from like the unofficial Boogeyman sequel, The Return of Boogeyman, or Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, in the fact that a lot of the sequel are scenes from the original film. In this film, Renee Harmon plays two characters. She plays well, that's one of the great things on it. If they don't have bonus like films, then often they have like hour-long documentaries and stuff like that. So she plays this sister that gets caught up in this girl that gets caught up in like some stuff and is tortured and killed right at the beginning of the film. And then she plays her identical twin sister that just happens to come into town and happens to come upon something that her sister had. Yeah, AGFA. It's the American Genre Film Archive. A lot. They do actually some of the transfers for other film companies as well. They're really interesting to us, and this is a really fun one to watch. I mean, I kind of think I might watch it again tonight because it runs 73 minutes. That's not a long film, but it's insane. And you know who directed this film? So remember the movie Don't Go in the Woods Alone? Hey, Weldon, do you remember Don't Go in the Woods Alone? Because I'm just going to let that kind of sink in for a second. That's this director. So if you watched Don't Go in the Woods Alone, you said, "Whoa, did he direct anything else?" That movie was kind of crazy. That movie was kind of strange. I wonder what it would be like if he did an action film. Well, wonder no more, because Lady Street Fighter is an action movie done by the director of Don't Go in the Woods Alone. Oh, yeah, it is. And I would say that, one, this is a crazier film than Don't Go in the Woods Alone. Two, this is a better film than Don't Go in the Woods Alone. But most of all, it's a weirder film. The story behind Renee Harmon is actually very interesting in and of itself. I have not yet listened to the commentary on this one, though the commentary is done by the director. And that's a lie. Let's do like a few minutes of it before I was going to bed. And it was actually really good. Renee Harmon was pretty, she has a pretty, I would love to see like a documentary on her because she had a really interesting life. Like at one point she was like a mobster mall, basically. She was dating this famous mobster. Like she was known as being like a very, very attractive girl, like kind of very powerful. She was involved with some very powerful, very deadly people. And this is one of her films. She did like Frozen Scream too, if you've ever seen that one. But I'm guessing it looks like she might have been a bit older in this one, but definitely a cool one. And also, as is mentioned on the back of here, we're talking about like hidden gems tonight. This has a carradine in the film. So you're not only getting a movie directed by the guy that directed Don't Go in the Woods Alone. You're not only getting a movie that stars Renee Harmon, who was legitimately like a gangster's girlfriend, but you're also getting a movie that has a carradine. Yes, one of the famous carradine acting families. And which carradine is in this one? Why? It's Trace Carradine. I need to get that one too, David. I heard that's a good release. I heard that's a really good release. So, who's Trace Carradine, you might ask? Well, he's one of the Carradines. He's one of the littler known Carradines. Definitely. Well, I can definitely do that. I got to get to a Western video, and somebody wants a Pablum video as well, so I'm going to try and get both those videos done in the near future. Tonight's video was unplanned, so. Yeah, I really want to watch this movie. This is my movie for tonight, I think. And I have so much I have to watch that I haven't watched yet, but I kind of want to watch the movie again. Do you want to see the alternate artwork? David's brother, exactly. So you know Trace Carradine. Thank you, Brian. I like doing them, especially right now, because as chipper as I am down in the dumps, because I am really missing my better half. It's it's gotten to the point where it's getting to me. So you guys help out. This is the alternate artwork. This is the alternate cover for Lady Street Fighter. So just sink that in for a second. It kind of looks like it could be like a Captain and Tennille album cover, but no, it's the alternate artwork for Lady Street Fighter. Yeah, it's the 70s, 77. But for those that just came in, here is all the movies that I showed off today in my Hidden Gems videos. I think I'm going to do more of these because I actually like to do them. I need to get more of the release. I was very impressed with everything that I got from AGFA. But as you can see, we have here the New Kids, Dragnet, Black Candle, Mosquito, Contamination, Hellhole, Ghost House, Witchery, The Crush, OSS 117, Master the Complete Series, Take It Out and Trade, the Volunteers, and Lady Street Fighter. So those are the 13 hidden gems that I think people passed over. I need Zodiac Killer. You got Zodiac, because Zodiac Killer is that's the one where the guy that's making it is actually in his mind anyway, he's a buff. He's a detective. So he's literally trying to solve the Zodiac Killer murders within the making of his film. So yeah, you get to see his theory on the Zodiac Killer if you watch the film. So hopefully you guys liked all those, and hopefully there's at least one there that you may not have had that you've opened up your minds to getting in the near future. If I was to pick any one of these, I mean, I don't know, just to pick one, I do think the House on Haunted Hill is a great release, actually, and like a really great release. It was, yeah, Brian, if you're still here, it was Brian's Just to This podcast, one that he did with Steph, that got me to buy House on Haunted Hill, because I listened to her talking about it, and they were like really kind of praising the film up in the features, and so I ended up picking it up, and I was really, really stoked by it. And when I got the film, I was impressed. You're a huge Fincher fan, aren't you? I like Fincher. I just really hate him for for Alien 3. I don't buy his the producers got involved. You still cut off Newt. You still cut off Newt. Shame on you. New one with Steph coming this week? Guys, so if you're not checking out Just to This podcast, and there's a new one with Stephanie Crawford coming up this week, and I definitely will be listening to it. Well, listen to them all, but I would definitely be listening to that. He does two. Ooh, nice. He has Just to This podcast, which is literally what you think it is. It's about movies and collect. So you like this type of thing. He actually has a video. He actually has a podcast episodes that he does where he talks about different films, like different releases. But then he does ones where kind of like films that is in his collection, kind of a watch pile one, which I actually got to be in the first one of. So I'm very proud of that. And so if you like my videos, if you're here watching this stuff, you're going to love Just to This podcast. Now, he does another podcast too, and does with Elric Kane, where a lot of you guys are going from Shockwaves. And him and Elric do one called Pure Cinema Podcast, and that is the official podcast for New Beverly Cinema. And they do some amazing stuff and some really big, long retrospectives. Definitely. Well, there's a Vinegar Syndrome sale coming. Are you excited, dude? Are you excited about the Vinegar Syndrome sale? Aren't you glad I was right about it being Angel Trilogy? It wouldn't actually. It depends on the film and what they put into it. I'm a huge fan of like Tam the T Rex was a very different choice for 4K. Obviously, that's I'm grabbing that one. Uh, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. Like for us, especially if they do some of the early releases, like something like I will buy Christmas Evil over again if they did like a 4K, maybe put some extra features on that. That would be one for me. Some people are going to be peeved, but okay, what if they're doing this movie in 4K? Well, here's the thing: you don't have to buy it. And two, every 4K movie that's coming out now, unless it's a brand new film, is is a re-release of a film that was already on Blu-ray and probably DVD, among other things. I will eventually get Suspiria from Snaps, right? Snaps put that out, or is putting it out. But I see. I know I shouldn't be. I paid a lot, like here in Canada. Well, I didn't pay it. My better half got it for Christmas. She paid a lot for the Blu-ray of Suspiria. It wasn't cheap. Like anybody here that's Canadian, if Enready, if you're still here, he knows. Suspiria was not a cheap Blu-ray to buy here in Canada. It's a chunk of change to go and grab. Oh, have a great evening, George, and enjoy the Arrow films coming up there. So grabbing it again on 4K, I'll definitely eventually do it because I love Suspiria. But if they knew it was coming out, I guess they didn't want to like hurt the sales of the Blu-ray. But I like, hey Cinematech, but I like the way that the Vinegar Syndrome did it better in the fact that, and maybe they couldn't, we don't know the reason behind it, but Tammy the T-Rex is coming out as a 4K disc and as a Blu-ray as well at the same time, so you get to make that decision. If Synapse put out Suspiria the Blu-ray and Suspiria the 4K at the same time, I definitely would have bought the 4K. I'm not a made of money person, and nobody ever sends me like companies don't send me movies. So so when I'm making decisions to buy something, it is like a lot of you guys here, it's the struggle. I don't know actually. Well, she got to do it with the late Paul Walker, and Terry Kaiser as well, right? Weekend at Bernie's guy. So there's I'm not sure she's really proud of the movie itself, but it's definitely an interesting experience. I don't know if I've seen them in Sarah Lodge yet, so I got to check it out. I missed a few videos recently, especially recently. Recently, when I get home, if I'm not doing this, I'm just with the cats or watching a movie, because I kind of just like check out a bit because I miss my better half. Our song is Chicago's "You're My Inspiration," by the way. The only way that I know to watch it is through that. I don't think they put it separately, and I don't know if it's on. I don't think it's on any streaming service. So, but I did get the Tenebrae, and that is a really great documentary, by the way. Yellow Fever. There's also a really cool documentary on the that Severin put as well. Grew with VHS. I'm slightly pre VHS. I remember the days, and like some people that are, if there's anybody that's older here like me, I remember that my mom was visiting because I lived with my grandparents, and it was on my birthday. I'll definitely do a documentary episode. I love documentaries. I've actually been thinking of one for a while. I just want to get the right ones. We rented a CED player, which is a capacitive enhanced discs. I think that's right. And it was like it's kind of like a laser disc, pre-laser disc, pre-VHS, and they were like these, well, way before Betamax. Like big, square, plastic, like things. And it had like artwork, and I've seen documentary The Bridge. I saw some. I haven't seen the movie, but I've heard of it. And it had like the information, all kinds of cool information. They're really cool to collect, by the way. So, and it's like hard, like plastic. So you take it and you put it in to the CD player, and some CD players actually came with their own like TVs, and you take out the this, because the plastic thing's just the casing, and you'd watch the film. What was that? Did I watch any of the Johnny? Well, I grew up Northern Lights with Johnny Carson. I'm a Johnny Carson, David Letterman type of guy. I was not so big when on Jay Leno. 1970, your first film. You're 13. It was a 1973 film. I don't know, dude. What is it? I like Conan, but I was not a big. I do watch some VHS. I don't have as big collection as I want, though. I used to have a much bigger collection of VHS, but they got water damage when I was coming over here. I used to like Bill Maher, and I agree with some of his stuff, but after Stan Lee passed away, and Bill Maher had that like diatribe against like comics and stuff, I kind of soured me. Did I see the Logan Paul? No. I have no interest in Logan Paul. He's that YouTube kid, right? The one that went down and like showed his body. Thanks. Oh, I keep forgetting you're in you're in Halifax. So I'm guessing that's the Taz that's downtown, right? Because the other, it's not, obviously not the other Taz. The Taz doesn't have a lot there, so it's a small place. Moving home. I like that Taz Records. I go there usually every time that I go. They have like Laserdisc there, and I like that. Moving home. Well, I am I'm close to home. I mean, I'm in, will I be moving back to Newfoundland, you mean? Probably not. I mean, my next move is probably going to be Morocco. That's my better half's home. Watching Poltergeist 3. I can't, I find it hard to rewatch it because of the actress, and because she did pass. And I guess it was the first like younger actress that I remember like passing away like that. And at the time it shocked me. I was trying to see 1973. Kess. Okay. I was trying to find a way to answer that. Do you want to know? Like, without getting into any, okay, without getting any spoilers, like you're like doing your review portion of it. I really liked it. And she was really young, and there was no reason for her to die. Actually, it was totally something that shouldn't have happened. Like on an operating table over something that should not have happened. Senseless stuff. Yeah. nobody's fault. But it was, when she passed away, 12 or 13. She wasn't very old. She was like really, like she was younger. Um, but it's just one of those that's always just got under my skin. And there's certain people, like you see them in films and stuff like that, like you never met them or anything like that, but you feel for them. And probably it's because of the type of role that she played. You mean the original Shining? Are you talking about the like Jack Torrance being in the picture? Well, I guess in a way you could say Torrance was sort of always there. Another interpretation maybe the hotel had taken Torrance as one of their own, and he'd just become another ghost for the hotel, so he joined the picture. But a lot of people do like to say that it's that Jack Torrance was kind of always there, and there's other people who say that Jack Torrance looked exactly like the person that killed his kids and all that type of stuff earlier on, but I don't think that was it. If anything, I'd say I'll go with the idea that the people that die in the Overlook become part of the Overlook, and that's why we see Torrance in the picture at the end. I did watch Full Gear and I loved it. Well, ambiguous, like to a certain extent, definitely, because Kubrick liked to do that. Besides Alone in the Dark, well, Fade to Black's one that I always say. But there's a lot actually. There's a lot that are still not out. I would like to get a real good version of Cheerleader Camp. I know that it came up by 88 Films. I think they put it out, right? But here in North America, I would like to see like a really good one. Amity 3D is not a good film. It was originally, like the other title of it is called The Demon. But the 3D on the Scream Factory edition makes it worth watching. I think Stephen King would say would think differently, but I do agree with you. But the book is better. Like people talk about how great the Stanley Kubrick film is. It is a really good film. I really like The Shining. I want the 4K of The Shining. It's still not as good as the book. Not even close, but it is a great movie. And if you compare them up against one another, then it's gonna lose. I don't know. I haven't read the book and I haven't seen the movie. I'm waiting to read the book after the movie. I have not seen the Prey yet. I need that one. Actually, I like the miniseries. Well, different aspects about it. When you take into consideration that the Shining miniseries is a television miniseries with the budget of TV, it stays closer to the book, and I'm sure King liked that about it. One of the best things about the Shining miniseries, hands down, is Steven Weber, who plays the role of Jack Torrance. Dude, come on, way over. I know he's Nicholson. And I know he's a Shelley Duvall, but overacting, man. Overacting. Come on, man. Steven Weber's character of Jack, he was Nicholson. He was fun. he had great scenes, and he does a good job in the way that character is interpreted. But let's put it to you this way. And I love, no, don't get me wrong, before I go any further, I love Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. I think it's a fantastic film. That being said, I'm not blinded by rose-colored glasses on, and the kid was not that good. Like in the miniseries, the kid in the movie was much better, but Steven Weber did a better job as Jack Torrance than I know you can say than Jack Nicholson did. And I will tell you right now why, because Jack Nicholson's performance is over the top, one note. There's no time in the Kubrick version of The Shining that you're like, wow, I wonder if this guy can go crazy. No, Jack Nicholson's character, Jack Torrance, is always nuts. He always hates his family. He's always insane. There's no good Jack Torrance in the Kubrick version of The Shining. It's a difference though. I mean, like, because Torrance's character in the novel is a guy that's had anger issues, he's had alcoholism, he's flawed, but overall he's a guy that loves his family, and it's shown right to the end where he literally sacrifices himself for Danny. And there's this growing, like, change in Jack Torrance. Like, we slowly see him becoming what he becomes. So when we get to things like "I'll work, no play makes Jack, I'll buy," it has more. It has more resonance due to the fact that we have seen Jack normal. There's no normal Jack in The Shining, in the film. There are things that don't work. Those hedge monsters do not work. They didn't work. You know, it was kind of an odd thing in the book. Exactly. The hedge monsters look silly in the miniseries. That doesn't work very well. It is hampered by the fact that the kid does not work. So, like, I don't know who the actor was to play the kid, but he's not. I didn't find him very good in the miniseries. And that being said, you know, he got casted in a miniseries I haven't been, and he didn't look like Stephen, like I know it's, you know, it's just a kid actor, but you think you pick someone that's going to at least kind of look like you would come from Steven Weber and Rebecca de Mornay, sort of, but he looks more like, he literally looks like more like you would be like Shelley Duvall. He has a kind of a Shelley Duvall, like you could see the little kid from The New Shining, being being the product of Shelley Duvall and Jack Nicholson, more so than the actors in the new film. I'm not sure if he cast it that way on purpose or not, and again, he was a child actor, and it's difficult for a child actor, especially to do something longer, like a miniseries type of thing. You know, where this is not a 2-hour movie. I'm guessing the kid on The Shining probably had it pretty hard as well. Now, a lot of people tend to think that Kubrick is this like super intellectual type of dude in real life. Kubrick wasn't really, and he wasn't a recluse either, like some people tend to think when they just watch his films. Kubrick was, you know, he was a dude like us that enjoyed watching movies, and he just happened to be really good at making them. But was he really? So he wasn't nice to Shelley Duvall. Hey, Cinema Dave. Now, all this being said, don't think I have any beef again. I love Kubrick's films. Well, the documentary Room 237, what I got out of that is that certain people watched The Shining, initially didn't like it, but they were like what you see, they were what film Twitter would be now. They could not wrap their heads around the fact that they did not like a Stanley Kubrick film, and basically, you know, started looking at, oh no, it's the moon landing. Oh no, it's a whole sexual thing. Had their own like weird theories. She was not a diva, man. Shelley Duvall is the opposite of diva in films. Like, she was never like that type of character, even in other stuff that she did, like Three Women and stuff like that. Right? She was never that type. aim laser at the moon. I think mirrors will project the light back to you. Basically prove that we land on the moon. No, she was tortured. Like, I know he was probably trying to get like a performance out of her, but a lot of Kubrick's films do have like a certain like misogynism to them. You know, like him or not, that's that's true. It does come across, but yes, but look at the way he treated her. I mean, like, you have to remember, like, when you watch the documentary, like, the stuff that we haven't seen and the stuff that we now know has gone on during that time period. That I don't think it was so much her as a divism as getting to a point where self protection. Yeah, unfortunately, that doesn't show in some of his films, though. I mean, that's fantastic that his wife says he's fantastic with women, and but he's not like a Sam Peckinpah level. Nobody's a Sam Peckinpah level except maybe Beelzebub. But and that guy's movies you don't want to watch. If you see that director's name on anything, put it back. And again, nothing against Kubrick. I like Kubrick, but Shelley Duvall has, look what happened to Shelley Duvall. And yes, I do blame him to a certain extent. He cracked her, and she never came back the same afterwards. She did stuff, but I don't think she was ever the same after that film. Still, it's a brilliant film. Did I like Eyes Wide Shut? I don't think he was a jerk. I really don't. I think Kubrick, he was a jerk on that set, and much like Hitchcock was definitely like pushed some women towards that. But overall, he's actually, when you hear like Kubrick and behind the scenes and stuff like that, he's actually more more likable. You can get more along than like certain other directors. More so than Hitchcock actually. And Hitchcock was not like horrible, but he could definitely push you, and sometimes it works for certain actors and other actors. It didn't work for. Eyes Wide Shut's an interesting film. It's more of a kind of a love story than you would think it would be. It's less erotically charged than you might think as well, which I guess the promotional material really put it towards this really height of like kind of like eroticism type of thing. But in all honesty, I don't know about you guys, but like most people's life are way more excitingly erotic than Eyes Wide Shut. But that being said, I did like the film. I think Lolita is probably one of his most underrated films. Paths to Glory, The Killing, again, fantastic films. Really, really great films. No, he didn't actually. It was finished by somebody else. See, I gotta just. Lolita's great for me, and Lolita's great because it's beautifully shot, but it's not gimmickly shot. It's not like Barry Windham, which is like which I think is like, oh look at all the candles, look at the lighting. No, it's shot well and unassuming. But what really kills for Lolita, what really makes it, is the performances. Like Peter Sellers' performance in Lolita is incredible. Doctor Strangelove. I didn't mind the Adrian Lyne version either. It's a subject matter to be. I said Wyndham, didn't I? Like the wrestler. I think I did. I think I said Barry Windham, which would be a totally different film. For me, I can never get into it. Like, I'll be honest with you, I can never get into Barry Lyndon. Maybe I got to watch it again. I got to go soon too, because I got to go to work tomorrow and early tomorrow too. But Barry Windham. Stanley Kubrick's Barry Windham. I'd totally watch that film. If you don't know who Barry Windham is, he's a wrestler, by the way. Big hospital dude. No, it's definitely an acquired taste. But Barry Lyndon tends to be a favorite among like film students. I understand the reasoning behind, like, if you're someone that's going into film and you're looking in lighting, if you and you're like seriously looking into like camera work and lighting, then I definitely recommend you check out Barry Lyndon. And after you finish it, watch a Barry Windham wrestling match, you know, just to pump you up. All right, guys, my vice is going. Merchant Ivory. Exactly. I am Aaron. This is the movie library. You guys are the movie club. You guys are awesome. Thank you for joining me here tonight and cheering me up because I was down. And I might go watch Lady Street Fighter. Have a great evening, guys, and I will see you here soon. Next time in the movie library. When hopefully I'm not doing a video with Semaphore. Later. I definitely will check it out. Oh, and we will.